Oilers Now digital content is sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. No payments and no interest for a year. That's how you build a legacy.
He's neutral. He likes all 32 teams equally. Courtesy of our friends at Abe's Door Service, where services are specially. Visit abesdoor.ca. We welcome back Elliotte Friedman. Hello, Elliotte. How you doing?
I love all my kids the same, Bob.
Do you?
All the same, yes.
Did you happen to watch The Crown? The TV
show? No, you know what? I haven't watched. I heard it's great, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, there's a scene in The Crown where Margaret Thatcher's character admits that she has a favorite child. And Queen Elizabeth is quite taken aback by the fact that Maggie Thatcher had a favorite child, which I as a parent, I find that interesting. So there you have it. You're saying you love all 7 Canadian teams equally. That's what you're saying.
I always say to people, I don't care which of them wins the Stanley Cup next, but I want to see one Canadian team win the Stanley Cup and cover it before Rogers fires me. Yes, I have said that.
Well, hopefully that happens this year. We're damn close the last 2 years.
Yep, very close.
So, in radio, you go to the mouth of the lion that roars. And the lion that roared today was the Minnesota Wild, even with a humorous little Bill Guerin message for Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov. Kaprizov is now the richest. He has the richest contract in NHL history, $17 million per year over the 8 seasons. What's that? $136 million. What's your take?
My take is that he had the hammer. Everybody looks at. I think people have a really flawed way they look at these things. They say, well, if player makes X, player Y, well, he can't make any more than that guy because he's not as good as that guy. It's not the way it works. It's all about what leverage you have. And there are situations where maybe a player isn't as good. It's a great player. Maybe they're not as good as someone else, but they have the hammer.
Yeah.
And in this case, Kaprizov had the hammer. The Wild needed to sign him. And, I'm sure people are going to look at this and they're going to say it's too much or whatever. I would bet you that the way Minnesota looks at it and their fans look at it, 8 times 17, it's steep. But what does it look like with no Kaprizov on your roster? And I think they looked into that abyss and they said, I don't like that. And Kaprizov had the hammer here. Like, look what Toronto went through with Marner last year. Almost the same situation. Not exactly. Toronto has other great players, but it was a big distraction all year. The player had all the leverage with no trade clause. And at the end, although they got a very good player in Nick Waugh for him, they didn't have the hammer. They were playing catch up on it all season. And I think that Minnesota looked at this and said, this is our franchise player. He's a guy we drafted. Big steal. If he leaves, it's not going to be easy to replace him. We have to get this done.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, Bob, if I was in their shoes, I would do it too. And I'll tell you something else, Bob. We were having this debate, me and a couple friends of mine. Kaprizov probably had as much, if not more, leverage in Minnesota than McDavid does in Edmonton.
Explain why.
Well, I think there's a couple of things. Number one, McDavid's a great player. He's not class by himself. But even for argument's sake, if McDavid was to leave, you still have Draisaitl, and you still have you still have a franchise player there. I think if Kaprizov leaves, you don't have a franchise player there.
Yeah.
And I think that's. And also, I think Kaprizov was willing to wield that hammer. I think what McDavid is doing is he's kind of using his hammer in different ways. It's more about, because I do think if he signs, the number is going to be lower than we all think. He's using it as in, I want to make sure I think we're going in the right direction here.
All right, there's a bunch of things there. Let's start with this. The team that knows the value the most of the respective player is the team that has the player. So
that is 100% correct.
Like, I can remember we had people come in from Detroit and criticize the Nugent Hopkins deal. Of the $6 million. Look what they did. They signed the guy after he scored 4 goals in the lockout year to a 7-year deal at $6 million. And I'm like, well, the guy kind of helped keep the building full for a number of years with Taylor Hall. Like, Edmonton knew best the value of Nugent Hopkins, and let's not forget, for years the Oilers, Elliotte, went through a time frame where they couldn't keep their best players. And then they signed Taylor Hall and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 2 number 1 overall picks, to max term length deals. And then they signed McDavid and Draisaitl and Nurse to max term length deals. And then they signed Nugent-Hopkins and Draisaitl again to max term length deals. They know the best in Edmonton about their players. Calgary, we got people criticizing. By the way, there were people that criticized the Draisaitl deal at $14 million times 8 last summer. I remember. I took those texts.
Who criticized that?
There were guys criticizing it.
Who?
There were some
Twitter randos?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had smart guys on Twitter when Draisaitl initially signed.
Come on.
So, all right, now.
That doesn't count.
Okay, let's go to Calgary. I totally understand why Calgary did the deal they did with Dustin Wolf. If I was Flames management, I would. They got themselves a hell of a goalie. They got him tied up. It's a good signing. I get it, and I'm with you as well. I think Minnesota, they were in a different. There is no. I'll take it once. Not only is there no Draisaitl in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. At this stage, there's no Evan Bouchard. He's a top 25 player in the world. You know.
You don't think Faber?
He's not as good as Bouchard. He's a different defender than Bouchard.
Different.
Yes.
Different.
He's a good player. He's not Bouchard.
He's not a point getter like Bouchard is.
He's the second highest scoring defenseman in NHL playoff history per game is Evan Bouchard. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, come on. We've got Elliotte Friedman on the show here. What are you hearing, if anything, on Leon Draisaitl? On Connor McDavid?
So what I'm hearing on McDavid is they're waiting. I know there's been some rumors about deferred money. I don't think that's happening.
Nor do I.
No, I don't think there's deferred money coming here. I think that, like I said, I think they're waiting on him. And I've said that I think the number will be lower than people think. I believe it could be lower than 16. It wouldn't surprise me if it was lower than 16. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it. Again, I'm going to say I don't think it's going to be long term. I think everybody is just waiting for McDavid to make his decision.
I think for some of the fans, a bit of the frustration is, well, the team has gone to the Stanley Cup final in back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Who's better? What other organization's better? And you might argue, well, Florida is.
I agree with what you're saying. Yes, I agree with that. You know, the thing is, you could say that any team that gets McDavid is better, right? And that's why I think McDavid is talked about. I really like this team this year because he sees what everybody sees. I think that. So I think, to me, what this is all about is McDavid. He wants to win so bad. The 2 losses the last 2 years have bothered him so much that he wants Minnesota. He wants Edmonton to realize that that winning. It's just sort of like, we all know winning matters to him. I think this is his way of just making sure that the Oilers realize how much it matters to him. Like, in case you're not 100% certain that he is completely consumed with winning, he's making things a little bit uncomfortable just to make sure everybody's aware of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I really do. Until I'm proven wrong, Bob, I'm going with the short-term extension. And, and I think also, too, then Edmonton does some other business. I think they'll have a short-term extension with Ekholm. And Wallman, I'm not as certain about. I still think there's work to do there.
They still have some work to do on Wallman. I agree they have some, but I do think he's open to a long-term extension.
I agree with that. I do too. I don't I don't know for sure where that stands. because everybody's being pretty quiet. But I still think there's work to do, and I agree with you. I think he's interested in a long-term extension there. I think he's willing to do it. I think he's very happy with the home he found in Edmonton last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's bounced around a bit, and he's had some challenge. I mean, he's basically played about 80% of the games that he could have played. He's had some injury issues. He's out again. The general manager traded for him. Some might say you get an opportunity to extend long-term. That might be a good environment for you where you know the GM's going to be the guy that believed in you.
I think also that he wants to play important games.
Yeah.
Like Detroit, he didn't really play many important games. San Jose, no. I think that matters to him.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of talk about Lucas Reichel. I don't know that that's going to be.
That doesn't make any sense. Like how? Like I'm sorry. What are the Oilers going to trade 2 forwards away to get Lucas Reichel? They've already got. They're probably going to have to. Just based on how training camp's gone to date, they've got 2 players that in Noah Philp and Alec Regula that they might want on their NHL team from day one this year. So,
Bob, the way I look at it this way is that. The way I look at it is that if you think that guy's a player that you believe in, you take your shot and you make it work. I just don't know how likely it is. That's all.
You're talking about Reichel?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think it's unlikely. So I could be wrong. I've been wrong before it happens. By the way, Elliotte, anything going on at all with Jack Eichel? Anything going on with Kyle Connor? Anything going on with Adrian Kempe?
I think that. Well, I think everybody was kind of waiting for someone to break the ice, Bob, and now it's happened. So I think we're going to see where this all lands. Eichel to me is a fascinating one. I have no doubt he wants to stay. I have no doubt they want to sign him. I think I have no doubt that they're going to make him their highest paid player, surpassing Marner. I think that this was clear, but I think to this point they've had trouble finding the sweet spot. Now, the difference between Minnesota and Vegas is Minnesota is a bigger tax state. Vegas obviously isn't. So I think that, there's something that benefits Vegas there. But now I think we really try to see if the two sides can figure out what the sweet spot is. Like, I wonder if that is Draisaitl's number. Is that a number that maybe gets that contract done? We'll see. I think that, Kempe, Tuch, all those guys, now, we'll see where it sets. I assume all these guys are going to be double-digit guys. If they weren't already going to be double-digit guys, I think the Kaprizov deal puts them there.
Wow.
Kyle Connor, for me, is, Alex Tuch, by the way, he's similar to Kaprizov in the sense that that's a local guy.
Yep.
They traded him for him in the Eichel deal. Like, Tuch has some sway in that. They're, like we talked about, and I'm not comparing them as players, but I'm comparing their circumstances. Kaprizov had big leverage in Minnesota. I don't think Tuch has that leverage, but I think the fact that he's a local guy, the fact that he was traded for Eichel, it certainly does put Buffalo in a position where you can see where the pressure is to sign that player.
Yeah.
When it comes to Connor, I don't think there's an issue here over the deal. I think when this is over, Connor likely becomes the second highest paid winger in the league, passing Rantanen and Marner, who are 12.
Wow.
But to me, the issue there is going to be, like, I looked at the contract or the details of the contract with Kaprizov today. It's almost all bonus money, especially early. Winnipeg doesn't do that.
No.
You look at, Scheifele got a bonus money year one. Pionk got bonus money year one. Velarde got bonus money year one. I don't remember Hellebuck off the top of my head, but it wasn't too different. Winnipeg doesn't do that, and I think that that's one of the things that's kind of been discussed in this deal. For a guy like Kyle Connor, some of this is going to have to happen. Now, it's all negotiation. At the end of the day, the player decides, and we'll see what happens. But for me, Connor, the issue is not going to be the numbers. The issue is going to be structure.
All right. You mentioned Matthias Ekholm. He is represented by Kurt Overhart. You mentioned Jake Wallman. He is represented by Wade Arnott. Lucas Reichel, by the way, was signed by Stan Bowman, and he is represented by Elaine Waugh. And Al Waugh has had a bunch of Oiler clients over the years, including, by the way, Trent Frederick. So
there you go.
There you go. Great stuff, Elliotte. As always, we much appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
All right, Bob. Speak to you soon, buddy.
You bet. That is Elliotte Friedman.